And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
That man loves me so much, and
even with that extra 2 inches.
You know, look what we built. We've built a beautiful life, and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. Notice my husband's very, very handsome, but his heart is even more beautiful. Oh, he's such a great partner. I feel that, right? I feel that every day in how supportive he's been.
You fucking...
And here's everything and every moment that I wanted to tell you how much I love you and like how proud I am of you. And of all things, it's making me emotional.
Like you're sitting there honking the horn, you can't.
For them to be able to look back and go, oh my gosh, she has loved us so much.
I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. Make a description like that.
The most influential man in the world, Time magazine should have been.
No, Meghan Markle beat me.
How if it's most influential, there should be there's no debate. Nobody's even in the same category as you.
I don't know. I don't think about it.
And
it's that little American hussies he's hooked up with. She's come to turn him into a Kardashian.
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, the stuff I like is dumb.
Yeah.
I like South Park.
Yeah.
I like things.
South Park rules.
They fucking rule.
Did you see what they just did?
What'd they do?
They went at Harry and Meghan.
She's
suing
And they're
them.
trying to sue him. It's like, don't
What are you?
fucking
You're suing South Park?
kick that
really?
hornet's nest.
Probably they're looking to move part-time to Canada.
They're going to start a reality show.
yeah.
I guarantee you some creepy producer got a hold of them and go, guys, listen, you're wasting your time over here in England. It rains too much.
Yeah. What are you
People
going to
are
do over
annoying.
here? Look, you're pissing away the money she's worth. And
Yeah.
he's probably thinking, yeah, I want to get out of this. But then he came out and said, well, we're not going to move to the States. Supposedly he came out and said, this is also, I can't believe we sound like Page 6 or something.
I spent the morning watching that fucking Meghan Markle special, and it sobered me right up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Something
Maureen.
killed your vibe.
The Deal or No Deal comments perfectly sum up Meghan's entire worldview. On one of her podcast episodes, she said she didn't like feeling forced to be all looks and little substance. Okay, but that was literally the entire point of the briefcase model role. What's next? A Miss America contestant saying she's shocked they didn't grade her on her dissertation. But here's the interesting part. This same type of attitude is still with her to the day.
That hooligan Joe Rogan and his terrible internet show would be illegal in my country. I deserve that $100 million, you little fuck.
Think about all the public service she does.
Oh, she's amazing.
Oh, it's incredible.
Just this alone, that should be worth a lot of money.
Well,
Just a wave.
think about it. Each wave is now apparently $103 million. That's a significant.
This is the important pearl of wisdom she has for all of her legions of fans.
I don't know what I'm doing yet.
My business hasn't gotten traction yet. No one's picked up my book proposal yet.
Yes.
I haven't found my soulmate yet. Everything is yet.
The power of yet.
The power of yet.
Yet again, I want to gouge out my ears. Well, Meghan Markle.
Do you watch all episodes of this?
No. I will go hard in the paint when it's necessary.
Yeah,
but
I know you will.
Okay, so I woke up at 5 a.m. when it dropped. It dropped at 3 a.m. to begin streaming it. And Meghan, within 10 minutes, I fell asleep.
It was so boring.
It was...
Meghan Markle, I think she was 35 or 30 when she came into the royal family. She'd had a life, she was an actress, she'd been married before. So she was pretty much clued up. And I think what's happened is she's come into the royal family and this archaic system has tried to control her and say, you will do this, you will do that, you will not go here, you will not go there. And she's just said, no, I'm not going to live like that. And I think that's why the issue was, because Meghan would not conform to the rules of the royal household and she wanted to actually have a life. Then that's where the problem started.
Why do all of Meghan Markle's projects keep failing? Didn't she sign a huge deal with Netflix and all of this, but they all keep flopping. The reason they keep flopping is because she doesn't have anything to say.
She's explained this incredibly complex phenomenon of how to properly cut a pineapple. Let's have a look.
trick that people do with pineapple, instead of just cutting it to to make the perfect little bite, you follow the wedge. When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something.
Oh, how fun is that? I love it. See? Mm-hmm. All right, it's gonna work. My good, it's great.
Just kill me now, Rupert.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Right.
If you want to be a public figure who is a thought leader, who you need to have like at least something to say. But this has been Meghan Markle's MO from the beginning. She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibility. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara, she doesn't want the public service. So she runs into becoming a princess, but then when she realizes that you actually have to do things when you're a princess, it's not all just Disneyland, people waiting on you hand and foot and adulating you when you actually have to like do things. Then she says, I don't want to be a princess.
Her daughter, and as part of her As Ever brand. And she says, being able to have my own little girl, as I've spent so much of my life championing the rights of girls and women, and to be able to see this as a multi-generational story. Archie is, of course, included in that. My husband is, of course, included in that. But I love the heritage feeling of it, and knowing this is something that I can create in front of my daughter and teach her what it's like to be a working mom. This is not what it's like.
Your favorite thing that you see in your kids that you go, oh, that's their dad. Like,
oh, some of the words that they still say with a British accent. So they'll say zebra, and what else do they say? They have these little moments where it comes out, because they have very American accents, but they say words that are just like him, and I think it's adorable. Zebra's a good one.
I want to show you one other clip of her. She's out still doing her founder podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And she wanted us all to know, as she worked in that clip we ran there, to remind us she's a regular person, Maureen. She's a working mom. So she gets what it's like to be a working mom.
Why would you buy Meghan Markle jam?
Sauce. And that makes you happy. I mean, you actually sit there
it does actually,
and you look gleeful.
It does.
You think you've seen bad acting before? Wait until you see Meghan Markle's latest performance, where she tried to cry on command for a podcast interview, but there wasn't a single tear in sight.
But before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
So beautiful.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, they're just it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on.
You look so pretty.
Oh my gosh. I don't even,
Body language experts are calling it one of the most obvious cases of deception they've ever analyzed, and the internet receipts are absolutely damning. But this fake crying incident is just the tip of an iceberg that includes royal title theft, million-dollar lawsuits, and rumors that could destroy everything she's built.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
I haven't heard that term in a while. She's a harlot, almost.
She's, well, harlot's bad, right? She's just powerful. But it's also very strange that he was, essentially infiltrated by a very ambitious actress. She used to be on Deal or No
infiltrated?
Deal. She was one of the Deal
Is that
or No Deal ladies.
The way it works? Is he
I
infiltrated
think so.
or was she infiltrated?
Well, it depends on who's getting.
Yeah.
It depends on the methods.
And now
Yeah. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with a briefcase.
She didn't like being objectified on.
The whole mess started when Meghan sat down with Jamie Kern-Lima supposedly for some raw emotional honesty about her struggles. Instead, viewers got what felt like the most staged performance since her Netflix cooking show.
People do with pineapple, instead of just cutting it to make the perfect little bite, you follow the wedge. When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something.
oh, how fun is that? I love it.
From the moment she started speaking, something was completely off. The host was painfully cringy, throwing compliments at Meghan like confetti, and Meghan just soaked it all up with this fake modesty that made your skin crawl. Then came the moment everyone's talking about. Meghan started dabbing her eyes with her voice trembling as she went on about overwhelming pressure and emotional struggles. She's doing all the motions of crying, the voice breaking, the dramatic pauses. But when you actually look at her face, there are 0 tears. Not one. Social media caught on immediately, with viewers zooming in and posting screenshots proving there wasn't even moisture around her eyes. The internet detectives didn't stop there. Within hours, an old clip resurfaced that absolutely destroyed any credibility she had left.
Which sparked a whole other media firestorm. Now, I want you to look at this. She sent a little basket, and here you can kind of zoom in here, and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Guys, this is not just something that I found online. This is not something that was AI'd or Photoshopped. This screenshot is from the podcast interview that was uploaded on YouTube. And of course, you might be looking at this photo and saying, Brett, why is this even relevant? It is a gift basket with a card. Who cares? Okay, I care. The internet cares, because she was caught red-handed using Her Royal Highness. That is a title that was stripped from her when she and Harry made their whole racism debacle.
It's from an interview where Meghan literally brags about being able to cry on command, saying she can produce a tear from her left eye in 3 seconds flat. The timing couldn't have been worse for her. And suddenly her emotional podcast breakdown looked less like vulnerability and more like a rehearsed audition tape. That embarrassing moment was just the beginning, though. Body language expert Scott Rouse stepped in and absolutely demolished every second of that interview. He broke down the excessive blinking, the way her facial expressions didn't match her words, and how her gestures seemed completely disconnected from what she was saying.
They are a celebrity couple.
Shouldn't Charles just take the titles away? I saw A.M. Wilson write that at the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I thought significant that he finally did that, because he loves it.
I think the fact that she's using that HRH title, even privately, is problematic for the palace. I think that's something they will be watching very, very closely, because it was the express wish of the late Queen.
Yes.
She wasn't going to strip them of it, but they weren't to use them.
According to Rouse, these are classic signs that someone isn't being truthful, and he didn't hold back in his analysis. What really caught attention was how Meghan's face remained practically unreadable when talking about her deepest struggles. No tension, no genuine emotion, just this blank expression while her voice carried all the dramatic weight. Rouse pointed out the forced eye movements and fake facial expressions, calling them obvious performances rather than genuine reactions. The breakdown went viral instantly, and now people aren't just listening to Meghan's words anymore. They're analyzing every micro-expression.
You know what's really interesting about that clip? That's not actually her podcast. It's her appearing for the first time on another podcast, barefoot, no makeup, the usual weird, manipulative kind of thing. You're trying to send some message about it. I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. This is all fake, right? She was a real hard-nosed LA girl.
During that same podcast, Meghan shared what sounded like a sweet parenting moment about writing nightly. Emails to her kids so they can read them when they're older. Sounds touching in theory, but social media wasn't buying the Hallmark card moment. People called it exactly what it looked like. A calculated PR move designed to make her seem more relatable and motherly. Even her most innocent statements are now being viewed through the lens of manufactured authenticity. Then came the detail that sent royal watchers into complete meltdown mode.
Because I suspect what happened was they had about 3 pots of jam that sold out because they bought them all.
Strawberry sauce.
And ever since, there hasn't been actually any update on the extraordinary sales. And I suspect it's just tanking like everything else they do. Why would you buy Meghan Markle jam?
Sauce. And that makes you happy. I mean, you actually sit there.
It does actually,
and you look gleeful.
It does, yeah.
And that is.
It does. You know why?
And that's really
I am
real shame.
No, because I don't.
Because we were talking about humanity.
No, I don't want them.
We were talking about humanity.
During the podcast, they showed what seemed like an innocent photo of a gift basket Meghan had made for a friend, complete with homemade strawberry jam and a handwritten card. Eagle-eyed viewers immediately spotted something that broke royal protocol in the worst way possible. The card was signed Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, a title she's explicitly banned from using after stepping back from royal duties. This wasn't just some innocent mistake. When Harry and Meghan made their deal to step away from royal responsibilities, they gave up the right to use their HRH titles publicly. The agreement with the late Queen was crystal clear about this restriction. So when that card surfaced with the forbidden title, it triggered an immediate backlash that went way beyond typical Meghan criticism. Even some of her longtime supporters admitted this was a seriously bad look. The public response was swift and brutal. Recent polling showed that a staggering 97% of respondents think King Charles should formally strip the couple of all their royal titles. That's not just disapproval, That's a thunderous demand for complete separation. The message from the British public couldn't be clearer. They're done watching Harry and Meghan play royal when it suits them while trashing the institution the rest of the time. Behind palace walls, the situation has reportedly pushed Prince William to his breaking point. Insiders claim that when he eventually takes the throne, he's planning to make a clean break from his brother and sister-in-law completely. To William, what they've done isn't just family drama, it's outright betrayal of everything the monarchy represents. King Charles might be taking the diplomatic approach for now, but William is apparently ready to cut all ties if that's what it takes to protect the crown's reputation. The pressure isn't just coming from family drama either. Harry's constant complaints about security arrangements have become a major headache for the royal institution. He keeps publicly demanding protection for his family, while expecting the royals to foot the bill despite stepping away from all royal duties. The palace made it clear that if you walk away from royal responsibilities, you walk away from royal perks too. Harry lost that battle, and his public whining about it has only made the situation worse. Meanwhile, Meghan was busy trying to salvage her brand empire, which has been one disaster after another. She originally launched her lifestyle company as American Riviera Orchard in March 2024, but had to rebrand it to As Ever in February 2025 due to trademark issues. The rebrand didn't go smoothly either, immediately clashing with multiple small businesses already using that name. But the real controversy came when people noticed her new logo looked suspiciously similar to the official coat of arms from a Spanish town. The similarities were so obvious that officials in Spain are now threatening legal action, claiming she straight up copied their traditional design. Her response to the backlash hasn't been graceful either, with many seeing through the polished branding attempts as desperate scrambles for attention and revenue. The product launches have been equally embarrassing. Her lifestyle series with Love Meghan premiered on Netflix in March 2025, but it's been facing criticism from day one. There's been major backlash over her use of expensive Le Creuset cookware, with critics arguing the fancy items are too pricey for average viewers. The whole show feels like tone-deaf lifestyle content rather than relatable material, which completely misses the mark for her intended audience. The legal troubles are mounting too, and they're not just about trademark disputes. A woman from Maryland is threatening a 7-figure lawsuit over a DIY bath salt recipe Meghan shared on her Netflix show. Robin Patrick claims she followed the recipe exactly and ended up with severe burns and ulcers that made her diabetic condition much worse. The ingredients, including arnica and Himalayan salt, allegedly caused catastrophic reactions that required medical treatment. This isn't just bad publicity. This could turn into a full-blown legal nightmare. Patrick is threatening to sue not just Meghan, but also Netflix and Archwell Productions for damages. She's demanding a financial settlement to avoid taking it to court, but if this escalates, it could expose Meghan to millions in liability. The idea that a lifestyle recipe could cause serious medical harm is exactly the kind of scandal that destroys celebrity brands overnight. But perhaps the most persistent rumors about Meghan's past refuse to go away no matter how much time passes. Long before she became the Duchess of Sussex, there were whispers about her allegedly working as a so-called yacht girl, attending exclusive parties on luxury yachts hosted by wealthy men. These aren't just random internet theories either. There are people claiming to have photos and insider knowledge about her activities during her struggling actress years. The speculation gets even more serious when it comes to potential connections, with Jeffrey Epstein's circle. Some claim there are photos of a young Meghan at events with Prince Andrew and other controversial figures from that world. While none of this has been proven, the rumors persist and continue to fuel online conspiracy theories about her true motivations for pursuing Prince Harry. To critics, all of this paints a picture not of a fairy tale romance, but of a calculated social climb into global fame and fortune. They point to her denials about knowing anything about the royal family before meeting Harry, despite evidence suggesting she was fascinated by them for years. The narrative that she was just an innocent actress who happened to fall in love with a prince becomes harder to believe when you look at the timeline and her apparent knowledge of royal protocol and media manipulation. What makes all of this even more complicated is how the American public has turned against the couple just as dramatically as the British. Recent surveys show that Americans largely view Harry and Meghan as entitled complainers who want all the benefits of royal status without any of the responsibilities. The sympathy they initially had after leaving the UK has completely evaporated, replaced by eye-rolling at their constant victim narratives. the couple's attempts to establish themselves as Hollywood power players haven't worked out either. Their big money deals with Netflix and Spotify have produced mostly forgettable content that failed to capture mainstream attention. Meghan's return to acting and lifestyle content feels forced and inauthentic, while Harry's memoir and interviews come across as repetitive grievance airing rather than meaningful storytelling. Even their charitable work, which should be their strongest suit, gets overshadowed by the constant drama and controversy. Every time they try to pivot to serious causes or humanitarian work, another scandal erupts that dominates the headlines instead. It's like they're trapped in a cycle of manufactured outrage that prevents them from ever establishing genuine credibility. The tea. Bigger question now is whether this is all part of some master plan, or if they're genuinely struggling to find their footing after leaving royal life. Are they brilliant manipulators who understand exactly how to stay relevant through controversy? Or are they former royals who bit off more than they could chew and are now desperately trying to maintain their status and income? Looking at everything, from the fake tears to the title abuse to the legal threats, it's clear that Meghan and Harry have fundamentally changed how we think about modern royalty and celebrity. They've shown that you can reject traditional institutions while still trying to profit from the status those institutions provided. Whether that makes them pioneers or opportunists depends entirely on your perspective, but one thing is certain, they've created a completely new template for royal rebellion that's equal parts fascinating and frustrating to watch unfold. The real test will be whether they can sustain this level of attention and controversy without completely destroying their credibility. Right now, they're walking a tightrope between relevance and ridicule, and every misstep gets magnified by millions of people who are watching and waiting for the next scandal to drop. The fake tears might have fooled nobody, but they're just the latest chapter in a story that keeps getting more unbelievable with each passing month.